Hi everybody, welcome back to the Petersen Automotive Museum YouTube channel. I'm Johnny Eisen, Associate Curator here at the museum, and we're in our Alternating Currents exhibit looking at the history of the electric car. This exhibit is sponsored by BMW of North America, and today we have a real oddball for you. It's the Zagato Zele 1000. We've already looked at several other cars in this exhibit. Tom Klusinski from BMW Classic USA showed us several BMW concept electric cars, as well as the E-Mini and the i3. And I've already talked about the Sebring Vanguard City car behind me, and of course the legendary William Townes Microdot concept car. So what is the Zagato Zele and why does it look like it does? Well, this is a low-range, small electric car that was manufactured during the gas crises of the 1970s. During the 1970s, we started to think about fuel efficiency, and manufacturers started producing many concepts for electric cars, and some smaller manufacturers started building these small neighborhood electric cars. Now, unlike microcars that appeared in Europe right after World War II, which were pretty much considered primary sources of transportation, these cars were thought of as more like supplementary vehicles. So this was something that you would use to commute to work, commute to the train station, or take on short shopping trips. The Zele here only has a range of about 50 miles and a top speed between 25 and 30 miles per hour. So this is not something for long trips. This is something for the neighborhood or for driving around crowded cities. Now, this car was designed and built by the famed design firm Zagato. Zagato was founded in 1919 by Ugo Zagato. They still are around today, and they were responsible for some very famous sports cars throughout the 20th century. They worked with a lot of big manufacturers, of course, mostly in Italy. Fiat, Aston Martin, Lancia, all had cars designed by Zagato. Before World War II, many people would buy simply a chassis and an engine from a manufacturer and send that chassis and engine to a coach builder who would build you a body. After the Second World War, this fell out of favor, and coach builders were then used mostly by large manufacturers as their design houses. But as the 1970s dawned, a lot of these big manufacturers used in-house designers, and the coach builders really needed to find new ways to make revenue. So one thing that Zagato did was try building their own little electric car. This is really one of the only, if not the only, production cars simply called a Zagato. You have Aston Martin Zagatos, you have Alfa Romeo Zagatos, but this is a Zagato, and it's unique in that way. So this car is really unlike anything else Zagato made. They really were famous for their very pretty sports cars. This thing is mostly form following function. So here we have a car where they wanted the smallest footprint possible, and also it has to seat two people. So they went with a very basic design. They also wanted this car to be easy to manufacture and cheap to buy. So we have a very small footprint here, a very short wheelbase, and it's pretty much just a fiberglass box set up upon this short wheelbase, which was derived from a Fiat 500 platform. You've also got some Fiat 124 parts in there. But they wanted to give it a little bit of style, so it has these kind of lines that run down the car. These creases help make the body a bit more rigid, but kind of the way that they're set up gives it a little bit a sense of style. It has this somewhat of a wedge shape with this kind of sloped front. I think from the front, it actually looks more like the Abominable Snowman's head. It's a funny looking thing. Again, it really was just to get you to the train station or get you to the grocery store. So it wasn't meant to be the most stylish thing, but I think it has a certain appeal. It's kind of cute in a face only a mother could love way. So one interesting feature of this car is this, what looks like a piece of tape that's holding the car together as if it was split in two and then stuck back together, and you put a piece of duct tape down here, or gaff tape. And that's because the car actually is made in two pieces that are stuck together and partially held together by this piece of tape. Now that's not entirely true, but this is hiding the seam. So for ease of manufacture, it was built in two pieces, sort of a clamshell design. There were a lot of other fiberglass cars in the mid-20th century that did this, except they usually were a top half and a bottom half. This car has a left half and a right half. Yeah, it's pretty interesting and a pretty cool way to build a car. The Zele was offered with 3 different electric engines, a 1,000-watt motor, a 1,500-watt motor, and a 2,000-watt motor, each one giving you a little bit more range and a little bit more speed. The 2,000-watt engine was unique in that it had a switch which would affect the motor's magnetic field. I'm not an electrical engineer, so I don't quite understand how it works, but I do know that it would then give you less torque, but a greater top speed. The usual top speed of this car was 25, but with the 2000 engine, you could get it up to 30, maybe even 35 or 40 miles per hour if you had some wind behind you or you were going downhill. All right, so let's get inside and see what it's like in there. It's actually fairly roomy. There's no back seat, so all the room is for leg room. And I can actually fit behind the steering wheel and reach the pedals pretty comfortably. It is a tight squeeze with the passenger seat. We don't have very many amenities. There is a radio. I'm not sure if that's original or not. And we do have some gauges and switches for the lights and wipers and whatnot. Here is our control for forward and reverse. Actually, yeah, it's fairly comfortable. I wouldn't want to be in here all day, but again, for a short trip, it's actually a really nice little car for what it is. We have a nice little storage area actually behind me. You could definitely fit a few grocery bags back there or small packages or whatever. You've got a couple pockets in the dashboard for maps and registration and whatnot. You know, the seats are pretty comfortable for the day. We don't have any seat belts in this particular one. So I wouldn't want to be in an accident, but of course you're only going around 25 miles an hour, so hopefully nothing serious would happen. It's a really well thought out car for something this basic. So only around 500 Zeles were built, but this car was actually exported to America and sold as the Elcar by the Elcar company. Its competition was something like the Sebring Vanguard City car, and both cars are actually very similar. I can't say whether I like one better than the other because the experience of at least sitting in them, I haven't driven both of them, is pretty much the same. It's just a small fiberglass box on wheels. I'd say that the Sebring Vanguard, I don't know, maybe is a bit more stylish with its wedge shape. Yeah, this one was a Zagato, so it sort of has a better name. So here around the back, right in the middle, we have the charging port to charge the batteries. And we also have these round taillights. Now, when these manufacturers made these small runs of cheap cars, of course, they used a lot of off-the-shelf parts. We already talked about how the platform was Fiat 500 based. I know the steering column came from the Fiat 126. And here we have taillight lenses from the Fiat 850, which were also used on the legendary Lancia Stratos, and I'm sure some other Italian cars, and if you know which ones, please mention them in the comments. So unlike a lot of other vehicles of its ilk and era, the Zagato Zele is a pretty sophisticated and well-engineered and designed machine. There's coil-over shocks on all 4 wheels, giving it a true car suspension and a much more comfortable ride than a lot of other cars of this nature. It looks a little unwieldy and tall, like it may have a high center of gravity, but of course all the batteries are right under the floor, giving it a low center of gravity and making it quite stable, especially with that suspension. There are some other features like these door hinges, unlike something like the Sebring Vanguard, which has a much more primitive hinge that looks like it could have come off a piece of furniture. This car has proper hinges, and the door was really quite pleasant to open and close. It made the car feel solid. So this little car has little wheels. These are 10-inch wheels, and the tires are 145 by 10 size, which is the same size that a Mini uses. Maybe not exactly, but pretty much the same. And it came with these wonderful Michelin XZX tires. These are really good tires with very sophisticated tread on them, and they were some of the world's first radial tires. So this car was really set up to be a car, not just a kind of rickety, funny thing for driving around town. Zagato made sure that this thing was built to last and built to be something that you would be comfortable and feel safe in. So that's a brief look at the Zagato Zele, an important piece of automotive history, especially electric car history from the 1970s. I'm Johnny Eisen. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all our videos. And when you're in Los Angeles, come and visit us here at the Petersen Automotive Museum.